Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another stream with Delenn Russell. This afternoon we are, or this evening, sorry. For you, it's evening. For me, it's only 5 p.m. This evening, for something a little bit different, I am, instead of playing City Skylines, I just really was not in the mood, but today is still the management game slot, so I thought for something a little bit different and a little bit new, then I would switch over to Planet Zoo and restart the career mode with you guys. So just something a bit different. It gives us some goals, it gives us some challenges, it keeps us working on something that is not totally from scratch to begin with, and then we can always look at building something else later, but starting with something pre-built and then it going from there might be a better plan, and the career mode is an excellent way to do that, because it teaches me at least, a little bit more about the ins and outs of the game and so on. I've played part of this through, as you'll see, but we haven't gotten very deep into it. So, first thing you'll notice is that I do not have my head cam turned on. The reason for this is purely that once you get into the main game, there's enough stuff going on screen such that you don't actually get to see a whole lot of, what's the word, you don't get to see a lot in terms of space for headcam, I guess, because there's enough going on in various other portions of the screen. There just was not a good spot to put the headcam, so that's why we don't have one this time around. In short form, though, my avatar, just going to show you, like, you know how to see a whole lot of it. But that's her. The avatars come in a couple of different sizes. I mean, I could choose different shirts and stuff. But I decided I would go with the beaver-themed one. Just a little bit of fun there. Although this axolotl shirt's kind of cool. It's not really an axolotl shirt, but it looks neat. And I guess I go stick with the beaver outfit. Now, while I'm not a super fan of the shorts, they could be worse, so I'll just go with that. We have different ones. We have the legs as well. And I'm just going to, for my sanity, there we go, restart stuff. Now, just making sure that the bot is working correctly. So I'm just restarting it from scratch, because
hello?
it's fussy. For example, we have a hello that should not have actually worked, but it did work. Alright. These are weird new pants.
Oh, ooh.
That's, yeah, not flattering. Not flattering at all. What else we got? Something, ooh, nice and generic. Those aren't bad. Oh, I see, they got trees and so on them. More flowers. More whatever that is. Looks like a tree of some kind. I think that goes with a different shirt, right? How about this one? And then it goes to the dark shorts. That's actually not that bad. I think I'll stick with that for now. Just something a little bit different. This is new from the Twilight download pack. You don't actually get to see a whole lot of your avatar, so it really doesn't matter what your avatar looks like. Really all this does is that it changes what you actually see. Thank you. It changes what you actually see in the game if somebody else was looking at your avatar. And I'm not putting a hat on, but there's the axolotl hat. And I'm not kidding. So I guess that was an axolotl. Okay. We're not going to end up having a hat, but there's the bat hat. So if our character was to go visit somebody else's zoo, you would see the hat. What else have we got? Generic zoo staff, which looks really ridiculous. Don't know why that one has to look so dumb. Then we've got, let's see what else we've got. There's your beaver hat. Your badger hat.
Oh!
Woodpecker hat. Oh, that's what that is. Okay. You can see why it looks far less dopey to just not have a hat. Alright. I think I've seen everything new there. I think I've seen everything new here. So we're just going to exit out of this part. No, not quit Planet Zoo. Go back.
Ooh. Ah.
Alright, now, Get the bot going real quick, because apparently it does not like me. You can hear me and the music. That's a good start. I'm monitoring both, but if you spin the planet, it makes weird noises. So there's 3 of us here, and the reason that there's 3 of us is my kids play this game when I'm not. So I'm not going to get too close for their avatars. You can see all over the place. Okay, so that said, let's start this career thing. Oh, and 10 after 5. Okay. Pardon me. Okie dokie. Gotta figure out which way to minimize that. Alright, so we start out with Goodwin's stately homeschooling. So I'm going to start a new one that says renovated and renamed after its purchase by Bernard Goodwin in the 1980s. Goodwin House has since become one of the most respected zoos in the country. More recently, it has undergone a further renovation to update many of the habitats and facilities, but due to various issues, the work hasn't quite been completed, which is where you come in. So we're going to start a new one. And let's go with Mr. Rocket Through. We'll go with the easies, and then we'll see how far we can get. Because I'm more interested in learning about some of the building tools, and I got stymied in the steeped in pollution one because it was crazy. We're going with some pretty low-key sounds on this one. Takes a little while for it to load. It is actually going, but it doesn't help that we have an anteater on the front.
Ah, heyo at Hematu. Yeah, Oh, sorry about that. I have a habit of slipping back into the Planko language. It's good to finally meet you in person. I'm Bernard, although I insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets. As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And prides, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s. But we're in the middle of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off. Don't worry, though. I'm not completely throwing you into the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy Jones, will be lending a helping hand. Oh, she's a hard worker, and she'll expect you to be, too. But I'm sure you'll get along like a house on fire, or even better, one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
That's very, very corny.
Hello there. From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarize you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals. We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat.
So you see that we've got objectives on the side here, and this is the blah blah story at the top. So I'll just see if we can minimize that. Oh, there we go. We can always replay the dialogue if we don't understand something, but these are the goals we're working on. The first step, of course, is to explore the zoo.
Did you know that grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a year? Oh, but then again, given the chance, I think a lot of people would do that too.
I would.
Select one of the bears and you'll bring up its information panel.
Guess if we go down like this.
This is where you can find out all kinds of information about your animal. The most important thing being its overall welfare. You'll learn more about animal welfare today as we go through your objectives. But for now, let's enjoy this magnificent animal. Why don't you select the camera at the bottom of its information panel?
Let's see what's going on. Okay, so we've got a lot of background noise. This is one of those games that just allows me to kill my mic. I actually haven't been saying a whole lot while other people are talking. Let's see what else I can do. Okay. I see what's happening. Hang on a sec here. So I'm just going to delete a couple of extra filters I had that for some reason got pasted into the microphone. Okay, so this should be a little bit better. Are we getting any better with that one? Okay, what had happened was, in setting up Planet Zoo, I copied filters across from my other game settings, but I mistakenly clicked the one right beside and pasted them on the microphone rather than on the correct game audio filter. So that's part of why the game got really crazy quiet and the microphone got all screwed up too. Just had to kick out the extra filters, then we're sounding better. Okay, so the goal that they want us now to do is enter the grizzly bear animal camera. So we just need to click on this bottom right one here and click on camera. And it finds the camera.
This is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it.
Bear butt.
Okay, when you're ready, let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take a look at the lions. I've marked their location for you to find.
We're allowed to look at the bears all we want, but I have to remember how to do this. Navigation, there you go. Not so much bear butt. Sleepy bears. Okay, so now we can go to the West African habitat. So if I click on this little point here, it'll actually take us over there easily.
Leo. All the West African lion to you and me. Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride, although prides of that size are pretty rare. As Bernie would say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there.
Alright, so hopefully people will be able to understand. So we can see, oops, if I drag, rotate, there we go. So over here,
as you can see, it's a lovely space for animals, but it's missing a certain something. Well, two somethings. Warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section.
Alright, so we have to go down to the animal trading section. See if we can get going there.
There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Adopt from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants.
Alright, so the last thing, yeah, she uses us doing that. Also, if we go down here, we clicked Adopt, and then we'll click this one, and we're going to adopt that.
When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade centre, where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home?
Just before we do that, yeah, her voice is actually picking up on my microphone because the games, or the AI in behind things, thinks it's another person talking. I've actually got both of my speakers not pointing against it, so the only option I've got here, just give me a quick sec and I will grab my earbuds.
talking to your talking. Get that? So it basically hears multiple voices and takes her voice as well as yours.
Yes, her duck is not. Hers is supposed to duck me. I'm not supposed to duck her.
Yeah, but I think when it comes around on your speakers, it thinks it's you.
No, it's fine. Keep them take a quick look. There's no head cam. You're not going to be seen anyways. So, filters. So if I take a look here, the ducking microphone, it's there. So it's supposed to duck my microphone.
Yep, it's ducking your microphone, but it seems like when she's talking, where the register is, it's not, it starts to duck her in the game.
Oh,
Like
she's looping her duck.
Yeah, the game audio ducks, but then your mic is still picking up.
Yeah, because my mic's AI thinks that she's another human.
Exactly, so it's rapping, so it's full. You're perfectly fine with just talking with game sounds.
I can't use this one.
Not charged?
No, the Bluetooth on Apple is too fussy going at this speed. So I think we are... Nope. Everybody probably heard that. Suffice to say, long story made short, we're trying to sort out the audio issue at this end so that everybody can hear what's going on. Alright, I'm just going to change my default speaker to my headphone and then we should be good to go. Sorry about all this, everybody. That's what happens when I thought I set everything up right and then obviously missed something. Alright, so let's hope that does the trick. People will actually have to just let me know if that's any better. Another advantage, me not having a face cam at the moment, Fantastic Sherlock Fox, there would be a lot of eye-rolly going on, not at anybody in particular, more in the situation, because I spent probably about an hour today trying to get all these pieces in place, so I wouldn't have to worry about that. But we're back. Alright, now, making the assumption you can hear correctly, I don't know if you guys can hear the Spotify. I don't really know how critical that is, so that's fine. It's just some ambient background music. Let's see. No, I am monitoring that one. I am monitoring that one, so I'm not hearing it. That's okay. It's just some chill hop kind of stuff. It meant to be ambient with this. So let's go click and place the warthogs in their habitat. So we can take them both with that check mark, and then we can tell them to send to the zoo. And then I have little, you probably can't see it on screen, it's a little difficult to show, but there's at the end of my cursor, there's a little zookeeper piece, and it says, a little tube beside it. Envision you see the pop-up there, so I just have to click them into the species section.
When you ask for an animal to be moved into a habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade centre, collect your animal, and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade centre's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action. Well, as you can see, those caretakers don't hang about. They'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat, but I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right, let's get the warthog's habitat finished up so we can keep them nice and happy. You see, each animal in the zoo has an overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment. Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information.
And when she's referring to Zoopedia, we've got one that you can see just up in the upper
Let's
left corner.
start
It's a
by
little
making
book
sure
with a
we're
paw
taking
on it.
care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now, each animal requires a different type of feeding station. And for the warthogs, it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl.
Okay, so we've got a small feeding trough. And we've got a water bowl.
Animals also require stimulation to keep them happy. Let's add a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in. That bath will count towards their enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare.
Okay, let's just see that. So enrichment welfare is pretty bad. We can also go up to the enrichment tab up top. And it wants the mud bath. So I'm gonna... Whoa, this mud bath is huge. Mud bath, come on. Let's put it over there.
Oh, nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see. Now, our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a feral state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos.
Okay, so I'm just going to use the little locator thing, makes it easy as pie.
Oh, before we actually start building our ostrich habitat, let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner.
This is where
That's more like it. A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration, because it'll stop the zoo spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this ostrich habitat built. Okay, job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it.
Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is rotate this thing around and zoom back this way. Oop, no, not that way. No, I want this one smaller. Could you please? Thank you. Now, these paths back here with the little symbols on them, those are specific to the zookeepers. So these ones down here are public paths, the gray ones, but the ones with the things on there are specific to the zookeepers, which means that it's actually quite handy for being able to put the habitat gate on a zookeeper side, because then they can get in, but the public can't. However, in this case, they're making it red and not allowing us to put it on that side, so it's probably part of the tutorial then. They're insisting it be over here. Would not be my choice. I actually would prefer to put it on the zookeeper only path, but it is what it is for the tutorial.
Right, let's complete the perimeter barrier so we can adopt us some ostriches. I've marked out an area for you to use, so I'd like you to finish off the perimeter using the brick barrier.
Alright, so I'm going to go straight up to the corner. And it looks like she's got the appropriate height preset. So I think we're good there. And I like giving ostriches a lot of space. But, that said, probably good to put like a path or something in on the corner. So we've got tools, but I'm just going to curve this around. Panel too short. There we are. And one more curve to get around this corner. And then we return to straight again. Just go down the long wall. I could probably make these larger. Yeah, let's actually undo that. So I can make these panels a little bit less, or a little longer. Yes, length 7 feet. How long can I do these? Oh, I'm locked in at the 5 feet. Nope, 66. There we go. Don't think 66 is going to fit. Yeah, not so much. Let's try 50. Now, we do have control over the distances, whether it be feet or meters. The reason I'm sticking with feet is actually that in spite of multiple attempts at the game, the creators making the game a little bit like updated and flexible and trying to fix the fact that they don't Where's 10? 12, 10, there we go. Fixing the fact that they don't have it reading in meters correctly. Unfortunately, they did not get that fixed. And so when you look at the Zoopedia, when it says how high the fences need to be to keep the animals from escaping, they...
Good work! Remember, before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier. Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment. At least not without a stepladder. But seeing as they're banned, I'd like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier, so the guests can see in.
Okay, so we actually have a ridiculous amount of finances, so we can do that. I'm actually going to see if it will let me do the whole barrier as glass. I really do prefer glass whenever I can. Yeah. Okay, you. This one. I'm going to take this piece and drag it all the way around the outside. Come on. Zoom. I have to zoom out a little bit just because it's not letting me go around a bit more. Okay, around the back. Yeah, okay, there we go. Is that the whole thing? Oh, whoops, I'm unselecting things. There we go. Let's make it all glass and see what she says. Are we all glass now? Turn you all glass, please. Oh, she didn't like that. Okay, gotta do it again. So apparently I can't take the starting fence. I can only take everything but. Okay, so let's go this way. Now they do have Edge Scroll available on this application. The reason that I don't like using the Edge Scroll is that sometimes I get way on the edge and it becomes a little ridiculous. It's like, is this gonna let me? Nope, she's still being a pain for the tutorial. Okay. Later on in the game, they do actually let you grab more than one section and turn them all glass. So I just think I'm going to see if it's going to let me do just down to the corner then. Actually, maybe not that one. Let's rotate around. I may have to play with the camera because this is actually pokier than... Yeah, this is getting insane. Okay, zoom in. No, let's try this section. It says a section of the fence. Can you make it glass? Will you let me go down to the corner, please? How about that? Let's go with that.
There we go. Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat. It's always best to make sure the guests can get a good view into a habitat from the path they're walking on, because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation. Just make sure you put them in easy-to-reach places, like near a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them.
Just before we do that, I'm going to see if I can quickly kick into the controls. Camera controls. Edge scrolling, no. Rotation behavior, mouse focused. Zoom behavior. Controls. There, edit, track, general. General shortcuts? Pan left, pan right. Pan, okay. Raise and lower. Panning left and panning right should be a lot faster than it is, but it's definitely not. Wow, okay. So I have not changed any of these, but the pan and raising and lowering is being a real work, so we'll just have to see how we can do on this one. There's a lot you can do with just the mouse, so if I can drag and pull and whatever, that's great, but it doesn't work too well when you're in the middle of dealing with barriers. But it looks like they're going to let us now muck with this part of the barrier. Oh, nope, it's not. Come on, crazy game? Okay, fine. Add a donation box. That's under facilities. And then guest facilities, but I mean, this one up top is an all, so I could actually really have just gone through it all. That's under all there, but if we want to be fussy, then we can put them under finances, and you'll find a donation box. Which I'm just going to throw a heart to a favorite so that it actually is easier to find later. Let's put a donation box on this corner. Oh, actually, if they'll let me put it right in the corner, that covers both directions nicely. Come on, can I put it right on the corner?
Now, before we adopt our ostriches, you should click the play button. After all, if the game's paused, then so are our caretakers, which will make it a bit tricky for them to deliver the ostriches, eh?
Alright, so it's
By the way,
unpause time.
as well as pausing the game, you can speed the game up by clicking on the fast forward button. It'll run everything at 2 times and 5 times faster. It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish. All right, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think? Let's get 4 of them in here.
Ostriches. Alright, so she's got them pre-done. So their average is not bad in height, or sorry, not bad in size and longevity, but she's a little less fertile than we'd like. It's okay, it happens. Let's see what we got. This one. So fine size and longevity. Average in fertile and immunity. So that's a little less than we'd like. I'd rather immunity be up, but it is what it is. Okay, common ostrich, a little over half in all the categories. That's not bad. And then this one. This is female. Yay! And now, if they don't explain some of these symbols, then I will get to explaining those as we go. Let's adopt that one. So we've got all 4 of them. They're waiting in the trade center, so I'm just going to go over here, pick them all, and we're going to send those to the zoo, and then I'm just going to click into the habitat.
While we wait for them to be collected by the caretakers and brought to the habitat, you should get it ready for them. Add a suitable feeding station, water station, and an appropriate food enrichment item. It's often best to place things like enrichments and feeding stations near to the habitat perimeter, so guests can get a really good view of the animals.
This is apparently panning backwards, which does seem to zoom out. It's because of the angle. Like, if I was to change this way, I just rotate around that center, and then lower the camera, and when I pan backwards, I'd bump into things, but I'd be able to see better. So let's pan this backwards just a little bit, and look at the feeding station. Let's put it way out there. Can't put the water trough. Yeah, let's put it not too far away, so let's put it over there in the shade, maybe? And then she wanted some food enrichments, so let's go back to the enrichment section, into the food enrichments, and apparently we know about a slow feeder, so that'll work. So then we can put one slow feeder in. Let's put it over on this side so guests can see.
Oh, good to see the ostriches have somewhere they can really stretch their legs. Did you know they can actually run at 43 miles per hour? Oh, heaven forbid they ever escape. The speed camera fines alone would bankrupt us.
Oh, Bernie. Okay, so we're going to continue on. And we want a keeper hut.
Well, Bernie certainly seems impressed. Did he do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich. So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better, let's do the same for the keepers, shall we? To make it easier for the keepers to feed the ostriches and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut. Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals, so they should be placed near to the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals.
Ooh, I love the classic look. Ah, so they have this place already picked out for us.
You'll
okay,
need
so
to rotate the keeper hut to get it to connect up to the path.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna... So I'm not placing this yet, I'm just dragging around. Okay, so then we can do a Z and rotate the mouse to turn this thing around. Yeah, that'll look okay. It's not ideal, but it looks great for now. Okay, now I've got a keeper hut.
This keeper hut only has space for one keeper, but the larger keeper hut can allow multiple keepers to prepare food at the same time. Oh, but bear in mind that keeper huts and other staff facilities shouldn't be placed near to areas where there are lots of guests. Guests don't like seeing facility buildings, and it can affect their happiness. Negatively. In case that wasn't clear. Something that all facilities, shops, and a whole host of other objects need is power, and that obviously includes your newly built keeper hut. So let's place a transformer next to it, shall we?
Which are going to be butt ugly, and people are not going to like the look of it. That's part of why you want to keep it away from people as much as you can.
Now, the reason everything has gone blue is because you're using the power heat map. This map allows you to see what is and what isn't powered in your zoo. So, once you've placed your transformer, you can click in the bottom left to turn the heat map off.
Okay, so we can see our facility thing, the generator, is blue. And I can turn it around till it pops, there we go, till it pops a path. I'm going to try and semi-square it. I wish I had more control. Let's go with that.
Lovely work. Now the keepers can start using the hut to prepare food, and thanks to where you've put it, they won't need to walk very far to deliver it to the ostriches and hippos. Let's get on to your next objective then. Bengal tigers. We want to adopt some, but I'm afraid there's nothing ready for them yet. Head on over to the plot of land I've marked out. It's not too far away.
Let's take a quick look at this zoo. Ooh. Okay, so I could go with the little arrow thing, the map marker, but I just wanted to see a little bit more of what the zoo looks like. And then we're going to zoom straight into this one.
Righty, your next job is to build a habitat from scratch. And concrete and glass, I expect. So, go ahead and build it. Just make sure that the habitat includes that big hole we've dug. Oh, and don't forget to add a habitat gate to the barrier.
Okay, first off, what do we have
and
for
make
barriers?
Sure the guests will be able to see the tigers.
Okay, so we have glass and concrete available. Concrete's cheaper. We also have red brick. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a feature that you don't learn about this early in the game, but I'm going to take a look at the Zoopedia, and she said Bengal tigers. So I'm going to take a look at the Bengal tigers. And on the right-hand side here, they give you a lot of blah-blah information, which is really useful and really interesting to read, but not relevant to what we're doing for game. What we need is the natural habitat portion. And on the right-hand side, you'll see here a minimum habitat requirements section. Now, the minimum habitat requirements are very important to help keep the characters or the creatures from escaping. So I'm going to make the assumption that since the game picked it, we already have the land requirements sorted, as in it will be big enough. And they've got a dip there, so the water requirement is actually nothing, but it looks like she's going to have us put water in there. Bengal tigers can swim. They don't have to, but they can. So that's probably part of their enrichment. But anyways, we need it to be a grade 3 strength wall, climb-proof feature, and has to be at least 9.9 feet tall. So I'm going to... Now, this is the bit that... the reason I have it set to feet in my distances is these measurements about height and feet and square feet and stuff. All of those, in one of the updates, they were supposed to set it so that it would be metric. But unfortunately, that appears not to be the case. I was testing that earlier today. So I switched my measurements in-game back to being imperial, just because that way I can match up with what's being said in the Zoopedia. So once again, it's grade 3, climb-proof, nearly 10 feet, well 9.9 feet. So we take a look at the barriers. We take a look at the first one. It says resistance grade 5. It says not climbable, so it's climb-proof. And then we just make it whatever height we want. This one says grade 6, so it's a bit stronger. Dilapidation rate, so the speed at which it wears down is actually slower, so I think I like that. It's not climbable as well, which is good, but it's opaque, meaning guests can't see. This one's grade 3, which is our minimum. It's got a low dilapidation rate, so that's even better in terms of, what do you call it, wearing down and maintenance. It's not climbable, so we don't have to worry about climbable, which is nice. But it's definitely not, or it's transparent, and, but it's only grade 3, which is great. It's just we didn't have as much. Okay, now let's see, what other features do we have here? Height labels, terrain relative, free camera, follow and center, follow and rotate. Okay. I'm not going to worry too much about that. We've got under these other settings, Habitat perimeter type. Do I want a curved barriers top edge? To be perfectly honest with you, I don't really care. I've never tried it before. I don't really think I need to. So this one would be a flat top, and you can change the bottom. I'm not really sure if that's all that important. And then this one, at least in this case, flat top, post length vary to keep the top of the barrier flat. That might not be bad. We've got a flat spot to work with, so I'm not going to turn that on this time. There's a little bit of an uneven on the left side there, but I think we're okay. So this one I'll just go with undulating. You can change its height, and I don't really care. So how long do I want to be? Let's go 50 feet. Or close enough, 49 feet. Do I want a window in it? Looks like we can actually put a window right in there. In which case, I might as well just go with that, and then I don't have to worry about putting the glass in for people to see. And then, if we had one-way glass, you could choose which side it's on. And being they're allowing us the one-way glass, I'm going to go with that, because it gives the tigers the privacy that will help keep them lower stress. So because they're allowing me that in here, I'm going to go with it. If I didn't want that color of concrete, I could change it to something else, like the gray. And I think... What do we have? Paint palette? Ooh, no. Let's go color swatches. Gray. Let's go kind of like a tan-ish color. Yeah, why not? Oops, let's hit reset. Oh well. Let's go with the tannish color and apply that. There we go. Alright. So I'm going to start on this corner. And see if I can go out here. And I'm going to try and give them the maximum amount of space. If I need benches or something for the people, then I can park those on the other side. And let's go rather square just to simplify things here. Obviously 50 feet's not going to work there. Let's bring it down to like 25. Can get 20. Oh, 26 is too big. 23. Just barely. Okay, let's go around this end. I can go back up to 50 for a bit. Or about 49 will do. Okay, let's rotate. Okay, if I cut that corner a little bit on purpose, then I can get the donation bin in. 20 feet. Can I... Ooh, I can curve that. Perfect. Now the 6.56 you're seeing here is actually the height. So we're going to have to raise this whole barrier when we're done. I'm not worried about the height right now. I'm going to build the whole barrier and then fix that. Alright, let's go back to straight. And going back to 50. And let's make it shorter again. Is that short enough? Barely. Okay. Let's pan the camera in a bit so I can see what I'm doing. The price doesn't actually change. They're saying it's $2 per foot, regardless of how you do it. So I think we're good there. Okay. So we've got the walls, but we need to have a gate for the staff. So I'm going to try and put it on this back corner here, just because then the people visiting don't see it. Oh, it's there, nice and helpful. Excellent. So they're letting me... Oh, let's go back this way. Oh no, come on. Scroll in. So I'm putting this gate, I said? Come on, not barriers, gates. Okay, let's check this out. Try barriers again, see if I can go into gates. Thank you. So if I go too square, then I just end up in the rocks in the corner. There we go.
Bernie takes safety very seriously at his zoos, so we should probably make sure those tigers can't jump out of their habitat, don't you think? The way we'll do it is by changing the height of the habitat's barrier. Okay then, you should start by double-clicking the habitat barrier, which will take you into barrier editing mode.
Okay, and then we have to drag this widget,
Great.
but I'm
Now
gonna need
highlight the
to-
entire perimeter of the habitat. You can do that by clicking and dragging the barrier selection tool.
Okay, and they said at least 9.9 feet. So I'm gonna just go for approximately 10. But go over? Yeah, there we go. 10.2. Now if we have an uneven length, like if we were going a flat height, but then an uneven length bottom, I'd have to make sure, as I take a quick scan around all the way around the outside, to make sure that was the correct height. Alright. So then if I can turn this off. And we also know that needing Bengal tigers, we're going to... That's a big dip, so what I'm going to do is the terrain. Can I paint this with water? Calm water, rough water? Let's put some calm water in there. Auto paint. Can I just go boink? Okay, valid. This is valid. Please let me fill my water. There we go. Obstructed. Okay, so I don't want to go any higher. Yeah, you can start to see a little bit of the line, but it's a bit obstructed because it goes off the terrain. It doesn't actually show you the terrain heights, but it goes off the terrain. Alright, so then we can close that. What else do we want? We want in the habitat, we know we need some food and water dishes, so let's go with that. So we start with the food and water. I'm going to put in Bengal tiger. Oh, no, that's not helping. Okay, so let's take that out. Put in a filter by the species then. And scroll. This could be awkward if we had a lot of them. Okay, and then close that. Feeding stations. Apparently I'm not at the correct spot yet. What am I missing? Let's go with over here, find our objectives. Place, oh, donation box. Aha! See, there's tips and tricks. I did leave a rounded corner for the donation box, so let's do that first. Guest facilities, money, oh nope, finance. Without the filter for the tiger. Reset those filters. Set boundary to 3.7 meters. So it's going into meters in that one. Love it. Just give me one quick second. Okay, so I just asked my Google Home device how tall 3.7 meters is in feet.
Looks like you don't have any accounts for children.
Give me a second. Sorry about that. Didn't expect it to respond further, so apparently it doesn't like that I did the barrier height my way, not its way. So they want it 12 feet high. It just means we have to go even higher. 12.177 something, so 12 and a bit feet high, which means I have to do this bit again. Oh, keep going.
Now you've got all of the perimeter selected, you can increase the height of it by clicking and dragging the barrier height tool upwards. You'll want to make sure it reaches a height of at least 3.7 meters.
And it's like 12 point something feet. So I'm just going to go 12.21.
Now that the habitat is in place, don't forget to put down a donation box near to your viewing areas. We need every dollar we can get. Especially as these tigers aren't exactly eating instant noodles for lunch.
Instant noodles, yay! Let's put it right
Okay,
on the
that's the habitat boundary complete, the habitat gate's in place, and most importantly, the tigers won't be able to jump out of it anymore. I think it's time we adopted those tigers.
Okay, so they want us, rather than to just look in for things, they actually want us to adopt the tigers first. Can do. Animal trading. Let's go back up here in the market. So we've got the two. Looks like we've got ourselves a breeding pair. Approximately middle size. That's not bad. And then this one. Oh, it's a little bit bigger than usual. It's going to be fairly long in life. Probably fairly young then. It's very fertile. And it's well, a little over half in the immunity. That's not too bad. We can deal with that. Okay, so they're in the trade center, and I'll take them and send these.
Whilst our
To the
trusty
zoo.
caretakers collect and deliver the tigers, let's take a look at preparing the habitat for their arrival. We'll start with the basics. Add a suitable feeding station for them.
Let's put that nice out and open. Sure, why not?
Yes, that'll do nicely. Of course, just like the warthogs and ostriches, these tigers will also need some enrichment. Why don't you add some suitable toy and food enrichment items into their habitat?
Okay, so it's allowing us to actually see them now. This is a scratching pad. You can see, it's just... Can I rotate around this part? And we'll drop the camera. Hello, tigers. People like to see tigers scratch, so let's just put it over there. And let's see, we have food enrichment. Ooh, blood pumpkin. So frozen pumpkin with another animal's blood in it. Yay! Very Halloween.
Okay, it's really starting to take shape. Now, the tigers will need a shelter in their habitat, so they can hide from the guests, or more likely, the bad weather. Although, given that we're in England, you might want to think of that just as normal weather. Go on, add a shelter to their habitat. You can either build one from various suitable bits and bobs, or if you like, just pop down the blueprint that I've already built for you.
What does that look like? Planet Zoo Shelter. Habitat. Shelters. Same thing, okay. It looks like that's the only one. I don't really feel like building from scratch, but if I wanted to, construction, you've got all kinds of pieces. You've got, like, centerpieces, you've got lights, you've got architecture, walls and roofs and planks and so on. I think I'm just going to go with the habitat piece for now and just grab the shelter they've already got. Oh, that's huge. Okay. Given that that's fairly large, I'm going to put it on the back side where the staff path is and spin it around so the guests can actually see what's going on. And just maybe I'll slide it down in this corner. Oh, come on. Yeah, actually the public path is there, so... Actually, to give us max viewing... Why am I zooming that way? I have no idea. This way. And tuck it right down the... Ooh, not through the wall. Is it down by the wall?
Oh, poor Dabs. I'm sure it can't have escaped your attention that the tigers look a bit miffed. That's because they aren't too keen on the type of terrain in their habitat. Select a tiger and bring up its information panel.
It just did.
Rightio.
Terrain
Click on the
tab.
terrain tab. That way you can view the terrain information and see how they feel about the different types of terrain. That'll tell you what the tigers need more of or less of in this habitat.
So they're not too impressed with the amount of long grass.
Okay
They
then,
want more
open the
soil.
terrain editing tool, select painting, and give them some more soil. Yes, that should help with the habitat part of their welfare.
Let's go with... It doesn't really care whether it's light soil or heavy soil. So let's go with the light soil. I'm going to leave the intensity at 60% and just... Where is... Tipping my angle on purpose so that I can see where all these long grasses are to make it more effective. Because where the short grasses are would be really a silly place to be putting more soil. Ah, whoops. Zoom, zoom. So the longer you hold down a tool, the more that actually happens in that spot, unless you've got the intensity set to 100. Okay, so we've got... So we've got the soil happy, but there's still too much long grass. We can, if we take a look at the meters, we can probably manage to have some more soil. We're going to go with that route. Especially in the sleeping area. And so we just paint this long stuff more or less right out of here. Oh, because we're taking forever for this long grass to get out of here. What did I miss? Which painting spots did I miss? Right up by the windows? And from what I understand, a good amount of the settings for the various animals in this game were actually done with consultation with animal experts around the world as it is. So that's kind of cool from my point of view. I could probably put in some heavier soil that might actually look a little better. Oh, I got some long grass in here. Come on, go away. Nope, too much short grass now. So I've deleted way too much of the short grass, thinking it was long grass. Alright. So I've got to sort out... Maybe I can put some short grass back in this end. And still manage to get rid of some of that long grass. Come on, where'd the long grass go? You're hiding. The long grass is like all over the place, but I don't see it. There it is. Hide, hide, hide. Come on. It's like mowing the lawn, you know, when you switch out the long for the short. There we go.
They say that good fences make good neighbors. I guess that's doubly true when one of the neighbors is a Bengal tiger. Still, those tigers look so happy that I doubt they'd leave, even if you did poke a hole in their fence. Oh, but for heaven's sake, don't test that theory.
Don't test that theory. What a goofball.
Right.
Alright, so now
let's head over to the Indian peafowls. I've been told that we need to improve their social welfare.
Let's take the shortcut.
Now then, just find one of the peafowls and select them to open our information panel. Then we can have a good gander at how they're doing. Although technically, I suppose gandering would just be for geese.
We're hearing an alarm. A lot of people running. I'm just going to pause for a second and see what
Expand their social welfare, and we can get a bit more detail.
Yeah, I get that, but what else is going on? Zoo founded, okay. Where is... all species? Okay, that's fine, but... why? That alarm that you're hearing, and people running, is usually related to an escaped animal. Oh, I guess they don't seem to care. That's fine. Part of the tutorial, I suppose. That's odd, but watch them run. Yay! Run away! Run away! We have a zookeeper running to figure out what it is that's chasing everybody. Something's scaring them, but we can't see what. That's odd. Okay. Something is scaring large quantities of people. But like right through here. I don't know. Whatever. Okay,
now, they've clearly got plenty of space, and they're not stressed, but it looks like their social group isn't quite right. So let's find out more. Click on the social tab at the top of their information panel to see what's wrong.
Too few adults. Okay. That's not a problem.
Right. As you can see, the peafowlers need their population to be larger. To solve this little problem, you'll need to adopt 3 more female peafowls. Off you pop to the animal market then.
So thankfully they only have 3. Convenient. Okay, let's go back here and take them all. I'm going to send them to the zoo.
Good work on those peafowlers. I expect they'll be delivered soon. But sadly, it sounds like our snow leopard is a bit grumpy. Let's head over there and see what's wrong with her.
Well, might be
just like people, animals can suffer from stress if things aren't quite right. You know, like when you see someone put in the milk before the tea bag. In the case of these snow leopards, they're a bit stressed by their lack of privacy. You can lower their stress levels by swapping out the normal glass barrier by their cave for one-way glass. It's not a cheap option, but I think they're worth the expense, don't you? This will give the snow leopards somewhere to go when they want to get away from the prying eyes of the guests.
What do we have right now? Secret. It's invisible barrier. That's regular barrier. Oops. There we go. And
Of course, when an animal isn't in its natural biome, it's probably going to be too hot or too cold. Unsurprisingly for the snow leopards, it's too hot. Even with the terrible British weather. You should help cool it down by adding some coolers to their habitat. But let's start by opening up the temperature heat map and having a look-see at the temperature in the leopard's habitat.
Ooh. Okay, yeah. So
As you can see, we already have one cooler in there. Let's pop some more down and get as much of the habitat as chilly as we can. Luckily for us, this habitat already has power, but you'll need to make sure of that in the future. Just so you know, if any part of a habitat is powered, then the whole habitat will be powered.
So this one's currently set to 0. So we need to make sure that this new one, when we click on it, that should be set to 0 as well. Okay. So now we're watching the temperature drop. This back corner could probably use another cooler as well, though. Coolers over here. You can see that they've got a range on them, so I can actually change that range if I need to. What's this one? Okay, so you can see it actively dropping the temperature. When its range is at 20, I can actually theoretically make it smaller, right? Down to like 1. I think I'm going to leave it at the max 20 for now. If people don't want to see the leopard because they are too cold, that's, in my mind, that's their problem. In another spot, I like to have a cooler. Would actually be smack dab in. Can I get in here? Okay, let's go around the other way. Can I get inside? Oh, come on. Come on. Let me get in here. So I can get C down in. Let's go down lower. I like to have one inside their habitat. Cool them off over there. Let's go this way. And I'm going to add the cooler.
You can find
that.
heat maps for all sorts of helpful things, so do be sure to explore them and make good use of them.
Okay, good. So it's cooling off
It'll
their
take a
habitat.
little while for the temperature to adjust once you've added coolers or heaters, but now we've got the coolers in, we can address the leopard's terrain welfare. You see, what the leopards really want in here is snow and rock, so let's make that happen.
Can I move this one? Yeah. Nope, it's not letting me move them. Okay, so once you place them, you're kind of stuck. We want to do... So they want rain welfare at 100%. Okay. Before we do that, we need to click this guy to figure out what they want. More snow and less long grass. Okay, can handle that. Long grass seems to be down in this corner. And they're going to want... She says more rock, but it looks like it's just the correct amount, so we need to really deal with the snow. Terrain, paint, find snow. And let's get rid of this long grass right off the bat. Scroll down. More snow. I'll get right down to the edge. Is that going to count? Oh, no, maybe not. Okay, I can take out this heat map because I'm noting. Let's try to take the intensity up to 100 and see if it'll snow, and then how much is actually going to stay. The snow's fine, but the long grass is still around. So this long grass is all through here as well. Icing wants snow everywhere.
Now then, all of that should give you a pretty good understanding of how to make animals happy. So I'd like you to go and check on all the other animals in the zoo and fix up any issues with their habitats. That'll increase the average welfare of the animals across the whole zoo. And that average welfare is a very important statistic. Now, to quickly see how all your animals are doing in the zoo, you should go into zoo management and then into the animals section.
I should,
Not bad.
but it's not requiring me to.
Not bad at all. I think it's fair to say that you've passed the first part of your training with flying colours. There's still lots more to learn, but we'll have to head to another one of Bernie's zoos for that. If you want to grab your passport, we'll head off, shall we?
Okay, so let's return to the menu. And we're going to go to the next one. Might as well. New zoo save. So, Goodwood House, stream. Ah, fucking spell. Oh, there we go. Stream. Okay. Save.
Mmm.
And that was a bit easy. They're going to take me to the menu, and we'll pick up the next section. But I think the next section this time I've played it on easy. That was way easy. So I think maybe we should take it up to medium level. I'm not sure I'm ready for hard level yet, because they can make all kinds of things go wrong while you're doing the career portion. Let's see. So we've done this one. That's where we just were. And we're going to start a new one of these. Start new. Let's go on medium difficulty, I think. Let's see. In medium difficulty, animals never get bored. Guests won't request refunds. 5-star guest happiness rating requires an average happiness of 85%. Okay. But if I was doing medium, or easy, sorry, what's the difference? Everything's more easy to maintain. Longer for animals to get stressed. Longer to die when their needs are critical. Okay. They don't get bored. They learn more from education sources. Happiness drops at a lower rate. Won't request refunds. More willing to spend cash. You only need 80% happiness for 5-star. Staff take longer to get tired. Staff can move faster. And staff get a larger happiness boost from training. Let's try medium. I don't really want to... Let's see. Hard. How hard is hard? Okay, everything's a much bigger challenge to maintain. People get stressed more. Animals get stressed more. Everything drops faster. Guests don't like things and they want refunds. Less willing to spend on cash. You have to hit 90. Ugh, I'm not quite ready for that one. So let's try medium and see how we can do. Let's start anew in medium. Do 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 do. All right. Just a quick reminder, things such as the Lego Time, Potter Trivia, Hangman, and of course Hill Champion are still active when I'm playing Planet Zoo. So all of those things are a possibility, because I can easily just pause the game and off we go. So if those sorts of things do appeal, feel free to always request to redeem those.
Welcome to Madagascar. It's quite the change of scenery from dreary old England, huh? Apart from the weather, I suppose. They don't call these places rainforests for nothing. The zoo you'll be working in is an ape sanctuary, where we're doing vitally important conservation work. Not just for apes, but for all kinds of species. But apes, well, apes are some of the closest relatives to humans there are. And yet, the way the world treats them is like, well, very much like some of us treat our actual relatives. Anyway, that's why I'm determined that our operation here does some good. If we can all leave some part of the world in a better state than we found it, we'll have lived lives worth living. And speaking of states, I have a horrible feeling I left the house in a right one. When I get back, I expect my life won't be worth living at all.
What a weirdo.
What do you think of Madagascar, then? Bit warm for my tastes, to be honest. Anyway, this is Bernie's Primate Sanctuary. It's not just primates, though. We've got all sorts of animals. So why don't we go and have a look at some of them, eh? We'll start by taking a look at the red-ruffed lemurs. They're the ones that look like they should be in a Shakespeare play. Come on, let's head over to them.
All right. So let's find the red-ruffed lemurs. Okay, back to the red-ruffed lemurs. We're going to find over there. Let's just take the shortcut.
Red-ruffed lemurs are found in the rainforests of Masoala. That's in northeast Madagascar. They can actually live anywhere from 15 up to 25 years. Fancy that, eh? Okay, when you're ready, let's go find our Bornean orangutans.
So if anybody wants me to stop and take a look at any of the animals closer, I definitely can do that. I'm a little spoiled when it comes to lemurs because last time I visited our local zoo, we actually had lemurs in at the moment. So I've seen a few of them.
The Bornean orangutan is such a marvellous creature. They're always a big favourite at any zoo they feature in, and they're also the biggest tree-dwelling animal on the planet. Assuming you don't count any lions that got stuck up one. Oh, why don't you take a better look at them? Open up their information panel and go into the animal camera.
Guess I just did that.
Aren't they just incredible? When you're ready, let's go and have a look-see at some of our beautiful bonobos. They're quite the characters.
Alright, so time to go see the bonobos. Let's go see them.
Oh dear! It looks like we've arrived just in time. One of the habitat's barriers has collapsed. And wouldn't you know it, one of the bonobos has made a run for it. We'll need to catch them. But before we do, we should box up the other bonobos to stop them escaping too. Select the habitat boundary to bring up the habitat information panel.
Alright.
Good. Now open the animals tab.
Yeah, I just did. Now what?
And click on Box All Animals to box up the remaining bonobos.
I don't know if you guys can hear this, but there is an alarm going off now. It sounds like a fire alarm.
Now, we'll need a vet to recapture that escaped bonobo, but it seems our last one left to do some research in the wild. Not an ideal situation. So, we'll need to hire a replacement, sharpish. Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area.
The zoo and staff, we need to hire a vet.
You can find all of your staff in here,
put it right there.
But there's no time to go looking at their particulars at the moment. Hire a vet.
Nice, she blow-darts the monkey. That's pretty cool.
Okay, that's a relief. So while the vet deals with our bonobo friend, let's go fix up their habitat so they can't escape again. Head back over there.
Let's head this barrier.
As you can see, the barrier's collapsed. Someone's taken their eye off the ball, obviously. Let's get this one replaced. Select the barrier and then we'll edit it. Delete the broken section of barrier and replace it with a brand spanking new one.
Take this. Oh, you have to delete it. Okay. You have to press delete. That's gone, and then put a new chunk in right
Good.
there.
Now that we've done that, we need to make sure to add climb-proof barriers to the top. That way the bonobos won't be able to climb out. Just make sure you've got the correct piece of barrier selected when you do that.
So we're going to click this one. And at the bottom...
Okay, so go into the options section and select which side the climb-proof barrier needs to go on. And don't get it wrong. We're more worried about bonobos climbing out than guests climbing in.
Okay. So
Nicely done.
right,
And I think it's high time we unbox those bonobos, wouldn't you say? The poor mites will get sad if we leave them in there for too long. Select the habitat barrier to bring up the habitat information panel again.
Animals. And we
Open the animals tab.
Yeah, I got there. Now what?
And finally,
Unbox, there we
click
go.
on Unbox All Animals to let them out. I expect some of them are fair bursting for the toilet.
Much information.
So, it turns out that as well as the old vet leaving, the zoo's mechanics did too. We'll need to hire a couple of new ones so we can help stop any more breakouts. You see, mechanics do
Zoo.
all sorts of helpful things around the zoo, but one of their most important jobs is taking care of the habitat barriers. Without mechanics around to repair them, the barriers will crack, crumble, and fall down. And before you know it, we'll be overrun with escaped animals.
So let's
Go into
over
the zoo
here.
section and then into the staff
Habitats.
management area again.
That's fine. Okay. Oh, they're all in good condition right now. Okay, so it doesn't really
Hire a
matter where I
mechanic
put this
and then
second
click on a
guy.
path to place them in the zoo.
Okay, so I've got one.
And then
need
click
to
on the
hire
path
one more.
again to
Let's
hire
just
a
put him on the
second
other
mechanic.
side.
As you can see, you don't have to go back into staff management if you're hiring lots of the same type of staff member.
Okay, so we did pretty good for that one. So let's continue.
Gosh, we have been busy, haven't we? Good work there. I'm off for a cuppa. Oh, I think Bernie wants a word with you.
Bernie.
Oh,
you gonna say something,
I
Bernie?
hear you had a bit of an issue with an escaped bonobo. The main thing is that you dealt with it swiftly, and more importantly, without the animal stealing someone's clothes, putting them on, and then walking out of the front gate.
You see, another key responsibility for our vets is animal research. Researching animals allows vets to unlock new enrichment items, additional information for our education resources, enhanced breeding programs, and improvements to food quality. The animals' food, not the vets. It'll take more than a research grant to improve the staff canteen. Anyway, as you can see, research is a key part of running your zoo. In order for a vet to undertake research, they require a research centre. And once again, that's something that this zoo is missing. So let's build one. I've marked out an area for you to put it.
So we can figure out where they want it. All over here. Okay, so we can zoom in on this
Now,
section.
you've probably noticed that there's already a building where I want you to build the research centre. Don't worry. You see, the building that's currently there is actually a hollow shell. So we're able to place our new building inside of it. If you select the research centre for placement and then hover over the shell, you'll see that it asks if you want to add the research centre to the existing building.
Ah, so the research center's small. We can do this.
Okay,
Okay,
click to add it to the building. Oh, but that won't place it in just yet, though. First, we'll need to rotate our research centre so it automatically connects to the path when we place it.
Okay, so let's... Ah, come on, get in there. Click on the building, please. Zoom out. Is it... Can you connect? Here. Come on. Like that. Oh. That just doesn't look right. Let's stick out the back. Yeah, it sticks out the back. Really dumb. Okay. So let's take this. And I want to move it. Okay, so not letting me. Is it Alt? What am I doing here? If I just press Z, it'll rotate 90 degrees. Okay, so let's exit this. If I click on this building, group edit mode. Let's take this, and let's get rid of it. Okay, so if I take that building. Oh, okay, that's part of it. Exit. Facilities. It's bugging me that's not fitting right. Come on. start story? It seems to want to let it stick out the back. I really don't like that. So if I go round the side, it sticks out. Can I grab this bit? Can I move that shell and stick it over top of the building a little more effectively? Guess not, not really. Okay, so we can't really make it work. Oops. I really don't like the look of that, but it seems to what the game wants. Build a research center. What is this? Research center. Okay. Pass. Let's take this bit. Stop path. Take that. Purposely blow it away. Let's take that research center and move it. I suppose we can do that. Not sure why it's calling it that. Okay, so I'm just going to ask it to tell me again.
Okay, click to add it to the building. Oh, but that won't place it in just yet, though. First, we'll need to rotate our research center so it automatically connects to the path when we place it.
Okay, so what we're going to do is take this one, delete it. So let's take research center, go back in here. Because I'm fighting with it, I don't want to actually have the game roll, so that's why I hit pause. You know, why is it being such a pill? Take the path thing and take... Oh, no. That part out. Okay. Grab this. And I want to move it. Likes that. Escape. Settings. Game. That's not what I want. Vertical snapping. I guess we should be all right there. Resume. Let's take this. Can I move it? Okay, so it looks like it's snapping a lot. I want to build the research center, please. Uh-huh. Now what? Oh, whoops. Okay, exit. I want that one. Okay, so we're going to take this, edit this, facilities, this one, let's put it as part of this, maybe? Obstructed by what? Obstructed by what? Let's go by. Facilities. Take this. Edit that. Facilities. Take this. Better.
Right. Splendid work. Now that we have a brand spanking new research centre, we can give our vets something to do in there. Oh, by the way, it's worth noting that the vets will only do research when they're not required to do any other jobs. That said, you can change what jobs a vet does via their information panel. But let's not worry about that just now. So, let's get our vet researching ring-tailed lemurs. Go into the zoo section and select vet research.
Okay, so vet research.
Here, you can see a list of all the animals present in your zoo, and also all the potential diseases that can occur. Now, drag and drop your vet onto the ring-tailed lemur to start their research.
Yes. Let's cancel that and try it again. All right. Really? Come on, you. You have to be in play mode. All right. Now what? Since it's not counting, let's go back in, cancel it. Okay. I'll take this one and move you over here. Hello? Let's find... Oh, not that. Let's find... Staff, where are you? I'll stick to them like glue. They're going underneath on the staff path. This person. Where's she going? There she is. You can follow her around, right? She's headed out to research. But the question is, if she's researching, why is that not counting? That's my question. I'm really confused. Because it should count. Okay. Zoo, staff, you. Where are you? Okay. So she's on the staff path below this path. You can't quite see her, so it's just not quite that. She's headed to Research Center. Sure. It's gonna take her a while to get there. So what I'm gonna try is doing a quick save. New zoo save. Oh, let's try it. Looks like they have maximum length. So, conservation project. Stream. Come on. Stream. Thank you. Save. Load. This one. And we're going to load that zoo. and see whether or not a reload of the zoo will actually do the trick to get it to give credit for that one. Come on. So I have not clicked off of it. It has not frozen as far as I can tell. There we go. Come on, monkey. That one's definitely a monkey. It's got a tail. Do 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 do. Interesting background noise. It's like when you go camping.
Right.
Okay,
Splendid work. Now that we have a
we go.
brand spanking new research centre, we can give our vets something to do in there. Oh, by the way, it's worth noting that the vets will only do research when they're not required to do any other jobs. That said, you can change what jobs a vet does via their information panel. But let's not worry about that just now. So, let's get our vet researching ring-tailed lemurs. Go into the zoo section and select Vet Research.
Okay, selected vet research.
Here, you can see a list of all the animals present in your zoo, and also all the potential diseases that can occur. Now, drag and drop your vet onto the ring-tailed lemur to start their research.
Let's see if this takes this time. I just did. Seriously? Fine. Okay, so we have lots of money. Jeez, I'm gonna get myself another vet. Just because I can. Vet, you live there. Well, whoops. Vet, over there. And let's go into veterinary research. Margie, you're not doing anything. So Margie, you're gonna be... Maybe Carmen can't do it? Let's try Margie. That's just what I did. I have no idea why that one's not doing it. I just did what they asked. Come on. Sue? Margie, where are you? Let's find you. Whoops. Let's find Margie. Okay, now where's she going? Going to a habitat. She's commuting. Research, please. It's supposed to be the other one. Okay, I'm doing what it said. Come on. What pain. It won't unlock the next one.
Here, you can see a list of all the animals present in your zoo, and also all the potential diseases that can occur. Now, drag and drop your vet onto the ring-tailed lemur to start their research.
Okay. I just did. Now wait a minute, there could be a clue here. This one. Retail lemur to level 5. Okay. So one of the problems we're seeing here, these lemurs, we've already got level 7. So probably part of it is we have to get them up to level 5, but currently they're sitting at 7, so that's not going to help anybody. Okay, Okay, well, not quite sure what to suggest on that one. You can't get them to level 5, it's already beyond that. What about the other one? Let's put Margie on something that's lower. Not really the cockroaches, they're kind of gross. Let's put it on Ringtail Lemur.
Actually, thinking about it, I'm not sure we've got any education boards or speakers by the lemur's habitat. Let's head over there and ask them, so our guests can learn all about the furry little delights.
So I see what my problem was, my big mistake. It said lemurs, I only saw brain fart, I only saw red ruffed, but she was actually talking about the ringtail. So now I have them both researching stuff. That's okay. I'm going to get Carmen off of this one and let her stay as a vet for the zoo, and let Margie do the ringtail lemur, and then to get back to what the actual request was. This one. Let's go back down here. Just look at the highlighted area. Let's just do the quick speed.
First off, let's pop down 2 education boards. Place them on the habitat barriers at a height that guests can see, or, if you like, pop them down on a stand.
Well, that would be easy as pie. They've got 2 stands here. There's nothing on them. So facilities. Education boards are down here. Habitat education board on a stand. Let's put education board, simplify it. I'm going to use this one. I have a heart on it because I've already used these in the past. So I'm just going to pop them onto the existing stand. There's one there. And let's try it like this. Okay, so align to surface is what we have by default. And that's part of why it's just snapping to the board.
Okay, now that they've been put into position, we have to tell them what animal to display information about. Select one of the education boards to bring up its information panel.
Already done that. This way. This way. Or maybe I'll get that thing to go away. So
And from the drop-down list, select ring-tailed lemur. Although I'm sure that last part was obvious. When you link an education board or a speaker to an animal, you need to make sure that said animal is close by. If it isn't, the guests will get confused and won't learn as much. Okay, now that we've done the education boards, let's pop down a pair of speakers. Speakers play audio to the guests, so they can learn while they look at the animals, instead of having to go through the laborious process of reading. Oh, one thing to bear in mind is that it's important not to put the speakers too close together. If you do, the guests won't be able to understand what's being said.
Okay. Education coverage. So if I put a speaker down there on the pole, how many do I need to put in? 2. Let's put it about halfway, so I'll put it on maybe up on this pole, I think.
Now we simply need to link the speakers to the ring-tailed lemurs, just like you did with the education boards.
Okay, I'm going to turn this heat map back on. See what I can get the range to be. 20? Is that too big? Probably. Oh, that's huge. Okay. Let's try that one. And then this one over here. Let's turn it on ringtail lemur first.
Oh, it's worth remembering that education boards and speakers both need power to work. They won't do much good without it. Oh, it looks as though our vet has completed their research on ring-tailed lemurs. We'll need to collect the results. We can do that by clicking on the notification or by going back into the vet research area. Go on, collect your research rewards. Just so you know, vets will continue to research an animal even after successfully completing a research level. I suppose when you're in the zone, you're in the zone.
All right.
Well,
Excellent.
now that we've enriched the lives of our guests, let's enrich the lives of our ring-tailed lemurs. Some animals, like lemurs, will have a climbing need. That means they have a requirement for a certain amount of climbing space, and you can fulfill that requirement by building them a climbing frame. Let's find out how much more climbing space our lemur friends need, shall we? Select one of them and bring up their information panel.
Okay, come on, lemurs. Where'd you go? There's one.
Next, click on the Terrain tab.
Oh. And they need more sand.
Now, as you can see, the lemurs need quite a lot more climbing space. But as it happens, I've already got a climbing frame blueprint built for you. So you can either pop that down or build one yourself from scratch. By the way, it's not always just climbing needs that you have to worry about. Other animals might need a certain amount of water in their habitat so they can go for a swim. They certainly do keep us on our toes.
Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the habitat. They talk about climbing frames, but if I sort by species. Scroll, 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 scroll. Oh, nope, not that one. Scroll, scroll. Scroll, more scroll. There we go. Because that makes it a little bit less list. Can I build something from scratch, or I can use a preset? Lemur climbing frame. Well, sure, let's just go with the lemur climbing frame. Wow. Shazam. Oh, come on. How about right smack in the middle? Sure.
Oh, that's a great climbing frame for them. They're going to absolutely love it. Do you know what would make them even happier, though? Nicer food.
Makes sense.
But that's true of all of us, though, isn't it? You can unlock better quality food for animals through research. Luckily, we've already unlocked some for the lemurs, so all that remains is to make sure they get served it from now on. Let's bring up the habitat information panel by selecting the lemur habitat.
Get this. They've got long ends to this, so I'm just going to move it this way. This whole fact it's floating really bothers me. There we go. It's a bit. Oops. The whole thing's very floaty. So they designed it specifically for this habitat in the game. Okay, so I'm going to toggle. So this way. That way. Things are kind of floaty, but I think I can live with that. That's better. It's not great. Okay, so is it ringtail food quality grade 2? Okay, so we can do. Let's go with the whole habitat.
Lovely.
Link.
Now select the Animals tab. There we go. As you can see, we can set the food quality in here. Just click on the drop-down menu and select Grade 2 Food Quality. Grade 2 Food Quality. My mouth's already watering.
Gross. That's disgusting. I'm not sure what if I want to know
a
what
new
that is.
climbing frame and better food. Oh, you've really spoilt those lemurs rotten. Now, I think it's time we looked at one of the zoo's most important responsibilities, releasing animals into the wild. You see, when we feel an animal is ready, we can release them into the wild. But what makes an animal a good candidate for release? Well, their age is an important factor. I mean, we can't release an animal that's a juvenile, just as we can't release one that's gotten too old. They'll also need to be fertile. After all, the idea is to repopulate the wild, so the best candidates will have a high fertility gene. And together, the age and fertility of a candidate will determine how many conservation credits we'll be rewarded when we release them. Now, conservation credits are vitally important. They're the lifeblood of your zoo, because earning them allows you to adopt even more animals. And what's more, the animals you can adopt will be of a higher quality. So, with that in mind, let's pop over to our orangutan habitat. I'd like you to find Agang, the Bornean orangutan in the habitat, and select him, please. You can either click through each orangutan in turn, or select the habitat barrier, go to the animals tab in the habitat information panel, and find him in the animals list.
This one, that one. Welcome, Eric. Thank you very much for being first. Most eager Glenn Russell fan today. Oh, and my biggest fan. Well, that's impressive. Thank you very much. Alrighty, so we are releasing Agon to the wild. So this guy, this one here. We can release them to the wild. They are, let's find more about them. Genetics. So they're small, but there's still a lot of life. They're very fertile and they're
Hello
very
there.
immune. Release them. Dun dun dun. Welcome on in, Lurg. Oh, happy smiley faces. Oh my dog. Nice. I'm not even sure what that is. Just a pair of dogs, I suppose. Alright,
I
so we're gonna
know
release him
it's
to the
sad to see
wild.
him go, but he'll be happy out in the wild. And he's a wonderful candidate for release. Young, strong, and fertile. Excellent work there. You've definitely got potential, you know.
I do? I don't know. Alright, so
Ah,
we're just finished.
I see you've been doing some homework. Although, it hardly seems like work when you're learning about something as adorable as a ring-tailed lemur. I imagine I'd have got much better grades at school if there'd been less algebra and more aldebra. Tortoises.
Grown.
Okay, so far we've done a lot of work with habitat animals, but now it's time to learn all about exhibit animals. Let's build a brand new exhibit. I've marked an area for our new exhibit. How about we head over there?
So, just finishing up before I do that, we have about 5 minutes left, so I will move a little bit into this, but we're going to wrap it up here, and this is our evening whatever Wednesdays. I think I'm going to continue with the career portion, because I'm actually enjoying this, even though there aren't a whole lot of people that are necessarily enjoying it along with me, but I think I'm going to be doing this for my evening slot of whatever Wednesdays. It's kind of a chill alternative, or not chill, chill contrast to what I was working on earlier with regards to the Eerie The Room game. I quite like this one as a bit of a break, and then tomorrow I can go back to being in Minecraft. So it says locate the highlighted area. Now I can either take this speed button, or I can take just a zoom out, see what the map looks like, and go find the highlighted area.
You don't seem very afraid.
You don't seem very frightening.
Lovely.
These
Now
animals
let's
aren't
build a
very
new
frightening.
exhibit in the gap that's been left. Just add it to the building like we did with the research centre earlier, then pop it into the gap.
Okay. The Gila monsters. Oh, Benson's now the biggest fan. I'm pleased to have either of you as big fans, regardless. Alright, so exhibits. We want a Gila monster one, and we only need a small one, so we're going to put a single exhibit. Oh! Okay. So we want that, but is that going to fit in correctly? Kind of fussy about that. Okay, we're going to take this out first. Take that. Zoom. Can I take this unit? Okay. Oh, it's got too many pieces. Okay. What is that? A rock? No, I don't need a rock. I want this piece. Come on. That. Oh, they're all related together. Okay, okay, okay. So this bit. Come on. Let's go in. Come on. Are you going to go in or not? Red. Why did it say don't to rotate it? I do want to know. I just wasn't sure if it was an appropriate thing to be asking on stream, so.
Perfect.
that in there.
The next thing to do is adopt an exhibit animal to go in there. How about a Gila monster? Open up the exhibit trading section and adopt one.
Okay, so exhibit trading is different than animal trading. Gila monsters. Ooh, but ugly. Alright. Sure. So an interesting note that when they adopt them for cash, you can't release those into the wild for your conservation
Just
credits.
as we do with habitat animals, we need to send the Gila monster to the exhibit. Click on the exhibit to send it there. When you send an animal to an exhibit, it'll automatically be given the correct setup. But that doesn't mean it's completely ready for them. So let's finish it off. We'll start by adding some enrichment items. Click on the exhibit to bring up its information panel.
Alright.
Good. Now click on the Layout tab. As I'm sure you know by now, you can unlock more enrichment levels by having one of your vets do some research. Now we'll also need to set the temperature and humidity in the exhibit. These are vitally important for keeping our Gila monster happy and comfortable. Click on the Climate tab. Here, you can see the Gila monster's desired temperature and humidity. You can change both of these by adjusting the dials below. Make sure it's going to be nice and cozy.
15 to 25 percentage. Okay, so we can definitely turn that down. That's pretty easy. Go to about 20. And then this one likes to be 35 to 42. That's right in the middle of 37. That's not too bad.
Ticket. And the last thing we need to look at is setting up the different windows. So click on the Windows tab.
I like the 3D facade. Oh, wrong side. Not on that one.
There's also an exhibit education board. Pop them down near your exhibits to teach your guests about them. Let's add one now.
None. Is it? No, that shows 3. 3D facade. That way. There we go. Oh, cool. I can do pictures. I can have my own images. Nice. Okay, we're good. Alright. What was the other piece we want to do? We want to exhibit education boards. Okay. Back down here, looking for visual media. Exhibit education board. Turn around. Okay, and then I have to set this to be the Gila monster.
Lovely stuff. Now our guests can learn all about our venomous friend here. Right, now, I've got a bit of a big job for you.
Congratulations, Lyric, on being
I
champion of
need
the
you
hill.
to increase the number of species in the zoo. You'll probably want to adopt both habitat and exhibit animals to do so, which will mean building plenty of new habitats and exhibits for them. Go on, off you pop. I'll check in with you when you're almost done.
That's actually a perfect place, so I'm just going to hit pause on this. And that'll be a perfect place for us to end for the day. So as we, let's turn around here. As we end, just going to do an uncreative zoom. Yay! Take a look at the zoo. And we have 3 more species to add. So before we explore the zoo and see what we can do to make them a little bit happier, make everybody else willing to help us pay for these things, and move on to that portion of it, I think this is a great place for us to say thank you, everybody, for coming in. It's been a great pleasure to share with you on Whatever Wednesday. I believe most likely we're going to probably go and visit the Dynamites after this. Oh, no, maybe not. I can't seem to find them at the moment. That could just be my timing, not being fully aware of what's going on. But in any case, it's been a blast. I actually enjoyed having some time spent with you guys. And we will be back tomorrow. We'll be doing some pretty chill stuff in Minecraft. I'm not fully sure yet quite what that will be. I suspect it's probably some more work on the church. Maybe doing some flooring and some lighting and stuff that I said I was going to do on Tuesday, but did not quite get to. Let's just take a quick look and see if... General, where am I here? Ah, okay. So it looks like the usual suspects are not actually going to be live tonight. So instead, I think I'm going to... Let's see. Let's head on over, and I will pass you guys off to a little bit of firepower. And as always, remember that his chat can get a little flaky and be on the edge of family friendly, more family friendly adjacent, but the vast majority of the time he is there. I'm going to go back to Minecraft because that tends to be my basic bread and butter, and that seems to be what people in this crew like the most. Unless I've got another one here. Unless. Ooh. Okay, well, you can always drop in and drop out. But actually, I think instead of going over there, sorry, Firepower, I think we're going to head over to Griffin Prime. He's doing MC Bingo, but it's multiplayer MC Bingo with friends. So that seems to be a good place to head. So it's still a little different than what we usually get, so I think we're probably going to head that direction instead. It makes a bit of sense. Then you guys can get another feel for a different variety of bingo, and the way that they do it is a little different. So let's head over that direction, or start the raid in that way, and then I will flip to the end screen and say the thank yous.
Mischief managed.
Mischief managed. Yeah. All right. So you can see pasted on screen there the sub message that you can copy out, or the global message. Thank you very much to the people who spent points for Benson and Lyric fighting back and forth over who's the biggest fan that we've got. We've got Fantastic Sherlock Fox as well, who is always a big fan, in spite of everything else. And who else did we see going through here? How's that? It's like Kermit the Frog. But we've got, so those two drop by, and as usual, we have Fantastic Sherlock Fox and Benson also filling in as our mods for us, and helping to clear out people that don't necessarily have an interest in watching. So, in any case, I will see you guys tomorrow. Please say hi to Griffin, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye for now.
Transfer complete.